Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Chat Shit, part 2 of our mashup shitty thingy-majiggy. I'm your host, Shane Richard Jordan. With me, as with the last one, as always, is Christopher Alfonso.
Good morrow.
Ben the Hitman Potter.
Thank you very much.
And Gavla the Magic Man on the producing decks. Fucking around with the music.
Yeah.
Your day has been a tough one. There's no hope for your week. You've missed another episode. It's looking pretty bleak. Warning. And this is full of spoilers from lads just up your street. So grab a cup of your favorite stuff. Sit back, put up your feet, and let's chat shit. Chat shit. Let's talk total rubbish and ramble a bit. Take the piss out of you. Take the piss out of me. It's not the kind of shit that you get on TV. It's not the kind of shit that you get on TV. It's not the kind of shit they talk about on TV.
Come on, let's go chat shit.
Oh, fucking...
But why do people think that I don't have money, so I'll get it on...
I don't know, they want the lifestyle, don't they? They want a nice house, they want whatever it might be.
Probably goes back to the same point I'm just mentioning there.
It's keeping up with the Joneses, isn't it? It's like, it's that whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
like,
it's just very different to me. I really couldn't give a flying fuck about that.
Mr. Jones just cut his grass, I'm going to cut mine. He's just planted a fucking flower, I'm going to plant a bush.
Fridges and freezers.
Yeah, that's
People
right.
do need stuff like
There is some essential stuff, but the rates on them is
that.
it's absolutely ridiculous. But if people need it, and you know, like I said, if it is like obviously sometimes you don't need the settee and you don't need the TV, you do need the wash machine or you know fridge and so on and so forth.
But yeah, my house is going to be bean bags and blankets on the floor, and that's about it.
It's like he's growing up.
Well, that's the other thing. Like it's like
it's personal preference as well.
But it's getting to a point now where stuff is so expensive, and we're going to go into the millennial thing. Well, I don't want to go into that, but like priorities ain't there.
No.
The right priorities ain't there. So, we all know him. Well, Gav doesn't that well, but I'm opening a second shop in Pontypool. It's going to be run by Tom. It's going to be his business. And yet, this is a guy that was contemplating today spending £650 on a pop, on one Funko Pop figure.
Why?
Because he needs it for his... Is it an investment?
I don't know.
What
I
happened?
did try to put him up.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I could understand if it was like a rare action figure, but it's not. It's a pop, and I know it's rare. But once that pop bubble goes, I think that's the end of it.
See, I'm kind of feeling where you're coming from with the TH. But
yeah.
I kind of feel it. I've got all 5. Well, I say I got all 5. There's 5 series of the 1995 Spider-Man. Do you remember that when we were kids? Rush home to watch it. I've got 1, 2, 3, and 5 because they were all under 30 quid for the entire series. Number 4 is 95 quid.
Yeah.
I begrudge paying that, even though it was the best series, because it had all the interplanetary war in it, where he had to go off and put his team together and everything. It's got all them episodes, it's got the great episodes in. But I don't want to spend 95 quid on something that, in 10 years' time, might not be that valued. Fair enough, like when I've got the entire collection, as a collection, it may be worth a lot of money in a few years, but I want to buy it to watch it. I don't want to spend 95 quid on one series.
Going back to my point, I'm not just having to go with Tom. It's a generation thing. I'm a collector and I waste money on a lot of stuff, which probably my worst thing as I'm a collector, I won't sell anything. So even if I buy it, if it any value is a chance that I'm not going to sell it. But I've got a business to run, so if I need money for the business, or I need money to live, then that's what I'll do. But Tom's not looking at that. Tom, as much as this is a franchise of Sin City Comics, Tom has to invest his own money. He has to pay his own rent. He has to pay his way, his electric, his bills, everything else. He's still got to live. He's got to pay whatever he's staying. But yeah, he's contemplating spending £650 on a pop, and I'm just like, Tom, you're gonna open a store in 2 weeks' time. You're gonna have a very short, sharp shock because he needs to be selling X, Y, and Z to pay his rent, and that's not gonna happen for the first 6 weeks or so until his name's out there and he gets more people in. But sometimes there's just no time. And I feel like I'm picking on him, but I'm not. He said to me yesterday, on Monday, there was a thing on a preview list, and it's Daubs, which is another version of Pops. He doesn't collect Daubs, but there was these characters he wanted. And he said to me, do you mind ordering them for me? He said, how much will they be? I said, they'll be the same price as Pops. And he's just like, all right, okay. I said, what are you getting them for? Oh, because there's only 2 of them. I said, yeah, but you know that's not the case. You know for a fact they will release more. I said, don't fucking do them. I said, you've got them in pops. I said, why waste your money? Don't bother doing them. No, you're right. I won't do them. An hour later, he stood at the till. So if something's X, Y, and Z, how much will it be? So what is it? He said, I sent Dobbs. So I told you, they'll be the same price as the pops. All right, okay. Can you order them for me? It's like, do what you want to do. So you want to order them? I'll order them. So you're paying full whack for them. And he's just like,
I can't talk. I'm bad at stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've never spent 650 quid on a pop, man.
No.
yeah, but you wouldn't spend, like, it's like you with your comics. You collect your comics and you have your comics.
Yeah.
But if you can't afford them,
Oh no, I read them
Yeah.
and then I sell them on.
yeah.
I've always, I was saying that to you earlier,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
I read all these series, and then if I think, oh, that's amazing, the art's amazing, then I'll keep it.
No.
Doesn't matter if it's worth anything. If I think, I'm never going to read that again, I'll sell it on.
Yeah.
And then buy more comics. Or whatever, Trying to get out of that.
But the difference is, as
It's-
well, you won't, like you've just said, I'm going to get rid of my stack first, and before
Yeah, I
I
did
add
say
anything
that
else
too, yeah.
on. So, because you were going through the comics and he was like, oh, yeah, I might get this, or I'll see you when I come back. Tom has stuff at the back already that he owes me money for.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not, and then he's on about the 650, and then he's ordering more stuff, and there's stuff he's already ordered that hasn't come in yet. It's like he bought some stuff last week, and then like 4 pops turned up the day for him, and you're just like, it's just going to keep.
It's a big thing at the moment, isn't it? That whole idea of experience, not spending money on experience and not spending it on items.
Huh.
So the idea is that you don't buy something to keep it, you buy it to experience it. Like you with your Venom comics, you've read them now, you've had that experience.
Yeah,
pass them on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get money out of it.
Yeah.
It's the experience of, like you, for example, you just said about Spider-Man. You owning it's not the important thing. The important thing is watching it. So you could spend the money to buy it, watch it, and then chuck it on eBay again. Do you know what I mean? It's about the experience.
Yeah,
of it,
absolutely.
not the owning of things. I'm trying to get zen like that, but it's quite tricky.
Yeah. It
I
is,
like
it
sticking
is quite
stickers
tricky.
in a book,
Yeah.
but I don't really want the book.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, though? I like the experience of collecting it. It's the kind of like, I like doing it, finding them all.
Yeah.
I can understand
I
that.
don't know.
I think you need.
I won't be selling Spider-Man again. Once I got the 5, that's it.
Oh, you are getting it?
Yeah, I got 3.
Oh, okay. Then.
5 is on its way. It's just number 4. Drops below 30 quid. I'll have it. I'm happy to pay up to 30 quid
You'll
for
find it.
13 episodes of like my favourite cartoon ever.
You've heard it here. If anyone's got it,
Yeah, 30
Gav
quid.
will give you 30 quid.
Yeah.
$29.95.
Yeah. No, I think you need quite a bit of insight to kind of identify like what you're saying. You need to like be able to think, oh yeah, what I don't like, I don't need this. I want it because of a feeling that I've had last time I purchased something similar.
Yeah.
So I think that takes a lot of insight, and I think a lot of people, it's basically what I said to your sister when she put it up on a thing, is it's a lot of emotional intelligence required for that. A lot of you got to know yourself a little bit. And
It's hard to do.
Yeah, so a
isn't
bit
it?
of context. My sister's buying a house, and with her boyfriend, I'm going to go into that subject, and she then put up a status the other day on Facebook saying, there was a time I dreamt I wouldn't be stuck in Newport and I would travel and so on and so forth. So I unloaded on her, and I don't think she likes me at the moment for it. And
then I chucked my 2 pence in.
and then Muskie chucked his 2 pence in. And then when I went over to my mum and dad's the other day, I said, I don't think she's really speaking to me. And they said, well, no, what you said was right, and we told her that. But she's in this balance of, and I understand we've all been there as young lovers, your first love or whatever whatever it might be, you're in love, and you just think, oh, this is it, this is everything. We're gonna settle down, have kids, whatever it might be. And I'm just like, yeah, listen to the people. And it's stupid because we were probably that naive. She's only 20, 21, and we were probably naive at that age as well. But she's 20, sorry. I just think, no, just no.
No, it just
No.
doesn't
No.
fit, does it? No, and I agree. I think we're all on the other side of it, like to a degree. We're all at one stage of our life, but that stage is behind us. Like, and I think it's easy for us to say, "Oh no, don't do that." But yeah, I think
It's that whole when you're a kid and your dad says, "Don't do that." I did that, and you're like, "No, do you know what? I'm going to do it because you said not to."
No, I'm all for practical learning because I think everyone's got to go through that lesson in some way, shape, or form. But I think in your sister's case, it was just for me. You've got to be able to again listen to yourself because for some people, you know, like they'd be happy at 20. They feel that they're settled and they're ready to kind of buy the house and fine. That's the stage of their life, and that's absolutely fine. But my issue is when you ain't listening to yourself. If you're thinking, you know, I remember wishing. You're 20 years old, love. Like, you know, that's a young age to be saying I was wishing for this. And I think you got to know yourself. You got to be confident in yourself. So just if you're thinking it, you just got to go with your gut.
I think that's the difference, and I'm not trying to go on Tom again, but Tom has told me like one of his things. He just wants to find a girl and settle down, and I'm fine. It's fine if that's what you want to do. I've told him he should travel. No, he wants to find a girl, settle down.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
Yeah, singing it. He's trying to find it on Spotify. Roland Keating did a good version of it, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah.
But my sister's just like.
If you want to, you can marry.
Yeah. Well then. But like you just said, you're putting that status up at 20 years old, and you've still got that option there. It's not. But yet, the moment she signs,
Guardians 2.
There we are.
the moment she signs them papers, that's gone. Now, I bought an house at early age, a little bit older, but I travelled first. I made a mistake, and if anything, you should look at your brother and go, "He's a cock. He fucked up. Maybe it'll happen to me."
Yeah.
You know, I won't take my thing away, but I travelled beforehand, so the whole buying a
where
house,
did
it
you go?
was Australia, Thailand, and all.
Yeah, strong. You went travelling as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I done a bit.
I've done a bit as well. Been travelling, Gav?
No.
Oh, okay.
Go travelling, Gav. Just leave your equipment behind.
Yeah,
Yeah, we need the equipment.
Is it safe in here?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we're safe in the new shop as well. But yeah, it's that whole. If you've got that dream and you want to do something, then do it. Like, what's stopping you?
It's very cliche, but it's the truth, innit? I mean, I was talking to my sister today, and like, fucking fair play to her. She's basically going through like a quite high end kind of university thing. She's got a little one, she's got a big one, and he's like, you know, he's special needs, isn't he? But bless him. But yeah, you know, she's coming to the end of doing this like massive dissertation. I was just having a quick chat with her, and she was just like, you know, I'm at the end of my tether. And I think you got to have a little bit of, you know, a bit of constitution to get through it all. But just think, you know, she's just had a real good crack. It was something that she needed to do, and she's just gone on and done it. And I think that's for everyone, really. As cliche as it is, like if you got something that's in you, it's in your gut. You're gonna go through some horrible times of it. You just gotta keep plugging it, though, innit? Yeah. Like any success story, that's what I said. Like any success story, you hear like there's loads of like the TED talks and things like that, which I think are really good. Like some of them, or some kind of motivational talks. And any person who's been really successful usually say a similar thing. And what they say is, you've basically got to do it and keep doing it to the point where it's completely insane to do it any further. But because that's what you got to do, you just continue doing it. And that's where 90% of the people will stop, is when it doesn't seem logical to continue. But as long as you go past that point, you know, that's where success lies, is on the other end of that. Yeah. And that's
what it comes down to.
Yeah, within reason, I think. But, you know, it's I think for anyone, I think that would be any advice I would say to a younger me, would be that. If I say I had like a 20-year-old me now in front of me, I think that would be the main thing, is just like, you know, ease up on yourself for a starter, and secondly, if you want to do it, just crack on. Like.
Just do it and just keep pushing forward. Like, we're all businessmen, we've all owned or run businesses at some point, and there's shit times. Like yesterday for me and Chris went through stuff with GeekFest. You've had a couple of bad months and whatever, and you've probably had some slots with the DJing and all, where it's just gone a bit tits up.
Well, I used to have my own DJ business as well. So
Gav's
Gav's
perfect. Gav's just like, fuck you, I'm fucking Richard
Gav's
Branson.
demonstrated how good he is by the tunes he's been banging out while we've been talking.
Yeah, do you hear the mixing as well?
No. I haven't been doing it long enough yet to have that drop.
But it'll come, but as long as you just see yourself through it.
He's still got his booking form.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Go book the forms for your weddings. As long as you got them. But yeah, it's just, if you crumble at the first hurdle, then you're not going anywhere, and you just you keep going and keep going and keep going, and I think that's what it comes down to. And if you crumble at the first hurdle, and it's for whatever reason, but you can look back on that and not look at it as a failure, look at it as a lesson. I think that's the other thing you can take out of it.
See, I like the old sayings: you fall off the horse, you get back on it. For me, it was a push bike. You fall off, you push back, you hurt yourself, but you fell off because you're not used to riding it.
No.
Get back on, ride it again, figure out what you did wrong, keep going. Eventually, you'll be a racer and you'll keep going.
I've made a million mistakes with Sin City with GeekFest, and Chris made me and Chris made mistakes with the GeekFest in the first year, and
I speak for yourself. I'm joking. Look at watch it neck. Did you see the eyebrow go up there?
I know he's gonna go for you.
fuck this. I don't. No, but and it's sort of it's one of them things. If I would have crumbled there and then with like Sin City, then the store wouldn't be here. Like yesterday, there was a point I walked downstairs yesterday, and it was right before Tom come in, and for me the worst part is I can be as strong as I want in front of everyone, Laura, my friends, anyone. Chris has seen me cry, I don't give a shit about that, but as soon as I phoned my mum and my dad, my mum rung me, and there was just a point, and if Tom wasn't in the room, I would have blubbered.
Yeah.
I got frustrated, and I punched the shit out of the mannequin instead, and kicked the mannequin all over the place. But it's just like, there's a point yesterday I just could have crumbled. I could have done the whole, I'm gonna get a normal job, and I'm gonna be normal now and get a normal job, and give up. And
I think anything that you're passionate about is you open yourself up to vulnerability, because you basically, especially in business, especially when you're serving the public, especially when you put everything, your heart and soul, into something that's tangible, because you leave yourself open for people to take the piss, and it only takes one person to take the piss, but because your heart's on the sleeve and because this is something you've poured all your effort into, that rejection stings. Because that's what it is. That's rejection. You put faith in your city. You put faith in people and in good nature. And I'd like to think that the majority, it's pretty well received. You probably get some kind of satisfaction from it. Some kind of gratitude from it and appreciation. But all it takes is that one little wanker, and just to come and just prick you with that thorn, and that's it. It can devastate an effect.
I hate the idea as well. So you go back to something we were talking about earlier, of the idea that I think that if you are earning money doing what you're doing, that is a normal job. That's what kind of really bugs me. It's like, say Gav's got his DJ business, right? Gav's earning good money doing his DJ business. That's a job. So when I used to do mine as well, it always really bugs me when people assume that it's not a job unless you're like David Guetta or something. Do you know what I mean? But as long as
Not a job.
No, but no, do you know what I mean? Though they assume that you're not a success.
He does less than me.
Like if you worked, say that you worked in Asda's or something, no one ever says to you, "Are you a manager yet?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But with Gav, they'll say that because, do you know what I mean? He's a DJ or whatever.
Yeah, they expect immediate success if you're.
Yeah, it's like if you're an actor or something. And
That's it.
Are you a success? Well,
No.
yeah, I'm earning the same amount of money I'd be working if I worked at
Yeah.
Starbucks.
But basically, the people who are doing the pantomimes and stuff like that, they don't pay $30K a year, and they only work like 6 months or whatever.
So that's a proper job.
Yeah, as
That's
far as I'm
actually a
concerned,
job.
that's as good as proper job. Yeah.
It's like got mates in bands and stuff, and they earn the same they would earn by working at McDonald's, getting out the guitar, playing their songs in a pub next night. That is actually a proper job.
Yeah.
But people say to them, "When are you going to get a real job? You're not on the
paid?
telly yet."
Yeah.
But that is a real job.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
And,
hate the way creative arts are considered
yeah.
like in a very different way than other things.
Yeah, you're probably right, and I think that's just like public conception, isn't it?
I live with my nan, and the amount of conversations I've had with her when she says you need a proper job.
That
I'm
is a
like,
proper job.
define proper job. Oh, you should be working for a company that's going to exploit you. I'm like, yeah, is that what it is? I got to work for a company that's going to exploit me to make loads of money and pay me peanuts, when I could just work for myself, be very successful, be good at it, and have more passion in it than I would anywhere else. It's like yourself. You're still here. What happened to you this week would have crushed me. I wouldn't have walked down. I would have just broke down. I'd have been gone. You are one of the strongest people I know. Fair play. To be able to keep going. So I've turned him off. Just to show how much I love you, But yeah, it's
going a bit over. It's got a bit broke back in here.
Oh yeah, it's alright, mate. I got the lube in the bag. But yeah, it is that thing though, isn't it? It's like when you got passionate about something, you do provide a better service. You work for someone else, they got no passion in you. They don't turn around to you and say,
he just
"We're going to
reneged
up
for
your
his
money and all
customer
that rubbish."
service in his bedside manner.
To
No, to be fair, I tell
the
you what.
difference is I just help
To be
people
fair
straight.
on
innit?
Shane,
Yeah.
unlike some comic places like being in, Shane does actually get up from behind the counter and will walk over to the comics and
No,
show
I
you.
will say
Occasionally.
Show
so. I
you
will
where
say,
they are.
yeah. I will say so. I was training down a club, right? And I was teaching this one guy. And he came up to me and he goes, he said, I heard you helped out with that at GeekedFest. Someone said it. I was like, yeah, it's cool. He said, and he runs a shop in in Newport, didn't he? I was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Shane it is. Goes, oh, yeah, I came in. He helped me out a bit. It was all right. Was he a cunt, was he? He's like, no, he was really nice, actually. I was like, fucking hell.
See, you guys both slated him, yeah? He orders your comics. He puts
No,
them
it's
aside for
it's
you.
not just that. What were they saying half hour ago?
Yeah.
Sal Snowed on Eskimo. How many
Yeah.
comics you want? Graphic novels?
Oh, all right,
What?
Shane.
What?
Hey,
on.
fellas,
Get in the bit.
fellas. He ain't sold fuck all to me yet.
Ah, sorry, Gav.
And I was,
DJ
in a,
Bill the end of the year. Gav, we ordered these for you, Gav.
I was in a
It's
comic
been a
shop.
superhero DJ.
I was in a comic shop the other day. I'm not going to say which one.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wasn't Shane's comic shop.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And there was this poor little kid in there.
Where do you think he sells his comics?
I know, yeah.
No, not to
fine.
there. Don't worry. I was only in there randomly.
I don't care if he
I'll
sells
say.
them after he buys them, do you?
I'll sell it for
I'll sell
more
it
than
to
what he
him.
bought them for.
But there's this poor kid in there, and he was going, where would I find Captain America? And the guy just didn't get up from behind the counter, and he went over there. So the poor kid went over there. Basically, this is the guy's living, so he should be selling comics to these guys. The kid couldn't find it, and he went, I can't find it. And he went, yeah, Captain America's under S. And the kid was like, but he still didn't get up and actually put the comic in his hand. And he's like, why is it under S? And he was going, because it's Steve Rogers, Captain America, or Sam Wilson, Captain America. Like, really aggressively at this poor little kid. And he was like, but they're still Captain America.
Yeah,
Shouldn't,
dick. Like, see, yeah.
shouldn't they be under C?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Honestly. And then the kid walked out, so no sale. The guy didn't even get up from behind the counter. If it had been me, I would have, or Shane or whatever, we'd have been like, oh, Captain America, yeah, let me show you. This is a good one.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's unbelievable, people. I'm not
So-
mentioning it well.
Sell.
Hi, mate.
It's your job.
Yeah.
So you make the Benjamins. Franks and bolts.
It'd be quite funny though, because the kid probably didn't know the Sam Wilson Captain America. He probably just knew the Steve Rogers ones. So he would have looked and been. You would have
He's
been there
probably
and
just
gone.
seen the film and went, oh, I
Yeah.
want to read Captain America.
You could have been in that position where you've gone with, is this one, is this one, is this one, and is this one? There's 4 different Captain
Well, I
America
asked the question, like,
comics. Which one do you
if
want?
you ever come in and, like, you see me with a customer I haven't had before, I always ask, like, you always got a customer, oh, I'm looking to get into comics. All right, yeah. Can you recommend anything? I was like, right, that's too far of an option. Let's break this down. So you've got to find out what the customer wants and needs, or, if they got an idea, do you like the films? Is there somebody you like in particular? Yeah, I like the X-Men films. All right, you're like, well, we got X-Men Gold and Blue and blah, 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 and roughly explain it to them, and 90% of the time they'll buy it. If you can just go, yeah, there's those comics over there.
Yeah, that's yeah.
There's a wall over there, full of fucking comics. There's 3 boxes there, buy them.
That's what the guys over the street do. Yeah, there's comics in there.
Yeah.
Comic shops, like record shops or sex shops or gyms, quite intimidating. People forget that. I think if you've been in that situation, like, it becomes second nature to Shane. So you got to remember that most people going in there are concerned that they're going to show themselves up.
Yeah.
That you're just going to be like the Simpsons comic shop guy or whatever.
And I don't look like too
I'm-
friendly at the best of times, I'll be honest.
I'm
but,
going to back up that when I walk into a gym. I'm intimidated as fuck, and I leave and go to the pub.
But it's like, it's just a service, isn't it?
Is yeah.
It's like you're making money.
So say if we could say magic wand, yeah, you could do anything else in the world. Would you change your job?
Probably not.
Yeah, anything. What about you,
I
Ben?
probably wouldn't either,
Would you?
This-
That's a good fucking place to be,
I've
isn't
got
it?
hobbies,
Yeah.
but none of those hobbies are anything that I would want to take any further. I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
Yeah?
Honestly, yeah.
No, that's very good, isn't it? No, a good place. That's a good place to be at.
I like DJing, but I'm glad it's become a hobby now. But I've been through 5, 6, 7 years doing what Gav did, and it was brilliant. And I went from that then to managing actual music venues,
Yeah.
which I never would have done had I not. Yeah, and I was really chuffed with it. But I've been doing something, but I was happy doing that.
Yeah, that's
I,
nice
moved
because
into something
it's
else.
there's no kind of there's no kind of I'd be a fucking millionaire or whatever. It's quite happy where you are.
I'm perfectly resigned to that.
Yeah,
Along
Yeah, I'd
with
like to
it.
make more money, obviously.
of course, yeah. But
Uh,
however,
I like the business to go, and I like the event management company. I'd like to grow that as well. But other than that, no. Like, I contemplate going back to uni in
Yeah,
September.
why
And I'm
not?
just like, no, I've done my BA. No, that nearly killed me.
what would
like,
you do? Like,
I was thinking of masters in marketing, but now I'm just like, no, I don't have time for that shit.
yeah,
So
how's that going to benefit you, the masters in
I
marketing?
just want to learn more about marketing.
Or just learn more about marketing.
He just wants to be a master or something.
Yeah.
Master.
He wants to be a master.
And I want to be a doctor.
That was the guy on my beekeeping course. He went high.
Oh, how was the beekeeping?
Oh, it was amazing.
Is it? Have
No,
you
it's
got
just-
bees now?
I haven't got bees now, but they're coming in 2-3 weeks.
Motherfucker. And so how far away... I want to talk about bees for a bit.
Oh, dude, I've been
Shane's
watching
been getting
fucking
really into
videos.
bees
I
as
really
well.
want to get into it.
Mate, fucking I'm all about them. That's the next thing.
Can we do a live podcast from my hive?
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be live food for your chickens.
Oh, no, they wouldn't need the bees, I don't think.
Don't feed them bees.
They won't fucking eat bees.
Sting them. That's mean.
George, fucking hell, Gav. Take a mic off him, for Christ's sake. So with a bee, so is there a certain distance has to be away from property?
No, actually. Oh, hang on. I don't want to incriminate myself on air, but no.
It's not.
No.
Wow.
I've got mine at my allotment.
Yeah, because I was going to say you got allotments, didn't you?
Well, you'd be fine in your... Yeah. Where do you go?
That's
Urban,
not that big, is it?
It's not
Urban-
that big. It won't be that much of a
Just get an
distance.
allotment. We'll just do beehives.
urban beekeeping's a big thing.
Yeah, it is a big
Yeah,
thing.
it is a big
I'm
thing.
all about beekeeping.
But then you say that, I didn't think bees stung like wasps. Wasps sting whenever the crap they want. But
Oh,
bees
but yeah, you
only do
you're
if they're
pissed off.
yeah.
Like, yeah, really piss
I'm-
them off.
I'm-
Yeah,
not
and
an
they die
expert.
afterwards as well.
Yeah.
Although, bit of beekeeping stuff here. They only die because we've got weird skin, so their stings bit like a V shape, and it sticks in there. With most animals and most things that it stings, it's able to pull it back out again.
Right.
But humans have got a strange skin, so actually it rips their abdomen out when they try to pull it out.
Oh, just rips them a new one. But you see, that's the thing. You see, I had someone, one of a girl I used to know. She used to go to me. The most stupidest animal in the world is a bee, because why do they sting you and die? And I never had the answer for that. Now I have the answer for that 10 years on.
They're one of the most. I think the
Yeah,
more
they
the
can
more you
protect
learn
them.
about bees, the more fascinating they become.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think they're
definitely.
stupid because they sting you. They
No,
sting
no,
you
I
because
think
they're
no,
trying
no.
to protect the queen.
Yeah, but it was just that they die after stinging.
Oh.
Was the issue there?
Oh, that's They don't
They-
always die. It's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
because they sting humans and that because of our skin.
Yeah, but that answers that question now.
And they leave their abdomen behind.
Learning has taken place.
They leave their abdomen behind like a little pulsating sac.
Yeah.
So what most people do is grab the sac, and all that does is squeeze every single bit of venom in that sac straight into your bloodstream.
So that makes it worse.
So what you should do is swipe across it and knock it off.
Yeah.
Bit of a tip there for you guys.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
However,
Useful.
it was a video I watched a few months ago about bees. There was a saying about the worker bees that are on you find them just walking on the floor. They're knackered. Give them a bit of sugar water. There was a guy with one on his hand, and he's like, "Look, they don't sting you," and it's there, just drinking the water off his hand. And it's like,
So long as
it's
it
nuts.
doesn't feel alarmed,
Yeah.
it won't sting you.
That was mental.
That's not because we're doing honeybees. They're a different kind of bee.
Burrowwood bees or something.
Yeah, but there's loads of different kinds of those kind of
Yeah.
bees. But they won't sting you unless you bother them. Otherwise, they die.
So I'm excited.
Yeah,
I
wasps are
actually
bastards.
one
Wasps are
day I'm gonna come
bastards.
see your allotment.
You definitely are. Everyone should come and see my
And then I want to see the honeybees, because I'll probably be getting honeybees next week now.
I'm thinking we pick a sunny day, we get a portable barbecue, some beers, and go to his allotment. And just
Just smoke the fucking bees out with some
Gotta be
pork
done.
chop, like.
Why not? No, don't do that. They're an endangered species.
They are, yeah.
Tall Vine Honey Farm.
Ah, right.
That's where you want to go on your course. I did the one in Cardiff.
Was it expensive? No.
Well, the bulk of the payment goes towards becoming a member of the Beekeeping Association, which gives you your insurance. So that's about 80 quid, and then I paid about, I'd pay like 25 quid on a course.
Really?
2 weekends.
Do you want to go on a course, Shane? Me and you, Shane. You're on a
Yeah.
course.
Stefan
Let's get an allotment, Chris.
Stefan, who's
A little shed.
runs Tall Vine.
You can plant if you want, but I'll just a couple of hives.
Just a couple of houses.
I
I've
got a-
been
I got a
watching there's a
mate-
thing called the Flow Hive. It looks amazing.
they're cool.
Yeah, they're the one where the Australian guys made it, isn't it?
Yeah, they've already got the honeycomb in it, and you just.
if it
just
helps
turn
you guys, a mate of mine's the chairman of the allotments up in Risca.
There you are.
Risker, though,
So
isn't it?
maybe I'll get you in there.
Oh, fuck Risker.
But there's no risk involved though.
Ah.
Bada bum bum.
Mine's in Cardiff.
Is it? It's quite a track.
I live in Cardiff.
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh, makes sense, then. Oh, well, I think that's
This
good.
is the track coming in.
Yeah, fucking right.
And I drive up from Cardiff every day to Cwmbran.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
So the other half live.
Yeah, someone's doing well. Hey.
Yeah, well, most of it goes on petrol.
Yeah.
That's why I sometimes back out of these podcasts, because it means I've got to drive all the way up here.
Really? I think we've gone on quite a bit, yeah?
Have we?
Yeah?
How long have we been?
Hour and a half.
Ah, it's got plenty of time left yet.
Is it?
Anyway, so let me tell you about the bee's life cycle.
Yeah, let's
Going
get an
on.
allotment then.
It says we've got 49 minutes left of recording space. We're 23 hours on top of that, but you know.
Oh, there we are. And this one, the thing with this though, it's been pretty slick. There's no editing involved.
No, we're not editing it. Just gonna wind it down and then send it out.
This is how we'll do it from now on. It's easy for me.
It is. And I
Yeah,
think
Yeah, it is. It works well.
I just think it's easier, yeah.
And it's actually quite nice having the music.
Going,
And the music's going.
Yeah,
and
if
it
you could just make a playlist and leave it next time, well, that'd
Yeah.
be great, Gav. Yeah, just
instead
a
of being like a
normal.
foof and
It's quite less intimidating when it's background music.
it is, isn't it? Just
Well, the
feel it
music
flows a
that's
bit
playing
natural.
now is a royalty-free music list that I've got that I use for radio and other
Oh,
bits and
there you
pieces.
Ah, it's very clever.
I think we could play any music because I think Matt plays any music.
You might get
I-
done by PRS. You want to be careful.
I think it's
Yeah.
okay
Yes.
because it's backing music,
Yeah.
but the way you
Yeah.
kept changing it, it's like you're changing it to a track you want to listen to. Where I think if you leave a playlist on, I think you're okay with that.
Is it?
think
I made a nice loop on Ableton, which lasted less than a second. I can loop that for 2 hours if you want.
I think
It might drive.
if we do it on a
everyone
comic one as well, just get all the comic themes, all the cartoons and all the.
Well, they had that, and then they had computer games going as well. So I had the comic themes, then I had the computer games themes. Then you said over to Ben, how are you doing? So I had to drop Ben in out. Again, DJing.
Yeah.
And then it was like, do you know what? Just have some royalty-free bollocks to it.
He knows what he's doing.
Alright.
This is like when everyone's having the buffet.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I trust him.
Okay, well, would you trust him? That's the important part. I trust him. It's his stuff.
Yeah,
If
so
I
we're
get a
like,
letter,
I think
you don't pay for it.
I think we're about 40 odd podcasts in. I mean, if I'm not trusted now,
Are we 40?
would-
Not 40, sure.
I'm pretty sure you played the original of Stevie Wonder though. That can't be royalty free.
I don't remember playing that.
Should we not discuss this on podcast just in
yeah. Some cheesy bloke in the background going, yes.
Stevie Wonder Woman. I
Yeah.
was-
Yeah, very good.
don't know what that meant, but
Now you see where the link was. We were talking about Wonderful.
is that how it was?
I
He's
didn't
on
even
another
catch that.
level, Gavin.
He is, and he's
Yeah.
3 steps ahead.
Yes.
We're all living 2017.
With the computer game music, as you were talking about computer games.
Yep.
Wonder Woman, Wonder Music came in.
Yeah.
And then I gave up then because you all moaned about royalty. So, bollocks to it, royalty-free music. Have it.
Could have played Royal Blood.
Could have
I
played
could've.
Royal Blood. Yeah, you could have.
could've.
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
Yeah, well, I did play Royal Blood
Oh, there you are then.
by Slayer.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
See where he was going.
Coming
See, I was
weeks.
there.
Anything you're looking forward
moving
to?
on.
That's Raining Blood, isn't it?
I might have been there.
Yeah.
Pun didn't work there, Gav. It was good though. I can see where he was going with it.
Yeah.
Can we have more Slayer on our thing?
Well, it's good because if Royal Blood's not a song by Slayer, we can't get sued because it was called Royal Blood.
Good point.
They're having a little. Do you want to
Anyone else?
just
wanna
leave them to it?
Sure,
Sure.
talk
talk about Slayer?
Have a little back and forth there.
Hey, you
there
guys
mate.
can talk your shit. We can talk ours, yeah.
We tried to include you.
To try to.
I felt included during that. I thought maybe I wouldn't be, but
No.
I
It'd be
felt
lovely,
accepted.
lovely to have you.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
It's true.
Thank you. very much.
What did you ask me just now?
Oh, I was trying to ask if anything planned in the coming weeks. That was a question for the floor. Anyone could take that up.
Well, I'm gonna actually
one
read
at
some
a time.
comics at some point,
Yeah?
so I can do a comic one again.
Yeah, I'm gonna plan on reading some comics.
We were full of it last week, Shane and I. We had a
Yeah?
list,
Oh,
didn't we,
no.
of everything we were gonna.
Well, I had a break in Ben, so you know, I sort of just
All
put a
right,
damper
mate.
on everything.
Yeah. Stop fucking
No, but I only ever read like the night
making a
before
song
and the
and
day
dance out of it. Like, do you know what I mean?
of the con of the.
I don't
Podcast, fucking
legitimately
hell.
have an excuse.
Yeah.
I have been reading, but not reading comics, so I can't really, you know.
I don't know, Chris. Have you got anything planned? I need to think about this question.
No, I don't know. I think next week I got a week off. I haven't got annual leave.
Nice.
Nice thing about having the only nice thing about having a fucking, permanent position and contract and all that. But yeah, so it's going to be gardening for me.
Is said partner off?
Nope. Just,
Bonus.
yeah. I wouldn't say that.
Yes.
So
See you more in the shop next weekend, obviously.
yeah, progs. Totes my goats. No training, and you get Muay Thai fit for our friend Uncle Joe over here. He wants to come over and have a man tangle.
Joey.
So probably teep him in the face.
How does Muay Thai different from other things? You say it, but I don't really know what.
So
Different style of fighting.
I was talking about bees. You can
Yeah.
talk about Muay Thai.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Do you know, Gav?
Muay Thai. Yeah.
I just thought they changed the sauce.
No, there you are. See?
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Yeah. So okay.
I need Gav to back me up to make sure I wasn't being stupid
Well,
here.
they
but
call Muay Thai is the art of 8 limbs because you use.
I'm already into this.
Yeah.
Sounds like Wu-Tang already. So
Yeah, it's all
I'm there,
the
mate.
fucking
I'm there.
He's back to his porn.
So yeah, it's basically it's a stand-up art. So there's no kind of grind work. So you don't like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or judo or something like that.
Mhm.
You can throw people, but it's not from the hips. You have
Yeah.
to chuck them. So so you can kind of the strikes are punches, kicks, knees, and elbows.
Okay.
So that's why they call it the art of 8 limbs.
Okay.
So yeah, it's basically just stand up. Have you ever seen K1 or kickboxing?
Yeah.
It's like K1, but
Okay.
it's just more what they call the clinch or the stand-up grappling,
Yeah.
where you kind of grab on each other like knee and fucking elbow and chuck.
Oh no, I think I know it. I think I've seen it a bit.
Yeah. So it's a national sport of Thailand.
So it's kind of like. No, I think I know what it is. I think I've
Yeah.
seen it.
and that's Muay Thai.
It's like grappling, but without throwing him on the floor and getting him in like.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
It's like punching the shit out of each other and kicking
Yeah,
each
it's
other
just
in the
pretty.
face.
It's pretty much the
It's
way.
not cage fighting or anything. I have visions of you
Well, no, it's the reason. A lot of cage fighters use it.
because they
But-
use a bit of everything, don't they?
No, you'll find it's quite linear now.
Oh, okay.
Because I started training years, like 10, 12 years ago, and then that was when MMA was just on his, cage fighting was just on his way up.
I had a mate who was a cage fighter.
Yeah.
Fists of Stone. Do you know him?
Fist of Stone, no.
Paul. No.
No, sorry.
Honestly, the state he used to. Anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a rough game. Don't get me wrong, though.
Unbelievable,
Not taking away from it. But what you'll find is they're quite linear. So you definitely have a grind work. So quite very popular is the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
BJJ, so a lot of people kind of do that, or some kind of judo background, grappling background, and then a lot of them tend to go boxing stance, because if you notice the difference between cage fighters and other fighters, kind of definitely on the amateur code up to kind of certain pro levels, is they got a wide stance, like the leg stance quite wide, like with a boxing stance you find a wide stance.
Yeah.
In Muay Thai you wouldn't do that simply
Okay.
because you get your leg taken off you.
Yeah.
Because I came from boxing into Muay Thai. And when I came from boxing, is nice low stance, big legs, and my leg got eaten. I mean, those kicks are fucking venomous.
Yeah.
Like they're hard. It's like getting hit by concrete. Like, yeah. So you learn to kind of straighten your leg up a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's a bit different. Like a lot of cage fighters use Thai,
Mm.
because it's quite versatile. But they won't use traditional Thai in cage because it doesn't really translate.
Do you see it a lot in when you're watching kung fu things and stuff on telly? Do they use those techniques? For...
Nah, they won't. I mean, it's not very good for kind of when you think of Thai is very much a practical sport. So it's practical art.
Okay.
So the reason you got like say karate or kung fu or some kind of they've got set moves. They've got kata, and you'll practice that. And to get your belt, you gotta be able to perform a certain amount in a
I got my
certain
green
way.
belt when I was about 6, and then obviously I didn't grow like everybody else.
So yeah, so what you have is the thing with Thai is not really a traditional grading system. So it's all about this is the art, this is the type of styles you can do. You got to work out what works for you. So it's very much a practical style.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it's not very good for like fancy moves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, top level. I mean, some of the things they pull off incredible.
Yeah.
However, like it's not like like the kung fu or the taekwondo where they're flicking kicks. Like like Jean-Claude Van Damme just flicks his kicks in the movies and all that. I mean, completely fucking useless.
Yeah.
Like, and if you did that in Thailand, you could get taken away.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah. It's a bit. It's I suppose it's a bit of an acquired taste, like. But the thing I love about it is, as soon as that bell goes for that 2-3 minutes or however long you're fighting, like there is no getting away from it.
Yeah.
It's not like with cage, they grapple, they go to the ground, and that's a different art in itself. Not taking away that skillful, however, just feels like you're getting away from it. Like as a spectator thing, I don't like it as much.
Yeah.
I call it man-tangling.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Man-tangling.
So yeah. That's
No,
my
so-
thought.
no, I,
Yeah.
I was wondering what that was because you say it quite a lot, but I was kind of.
Fucking love it, mate.
I was just going, yeah. But I wasn't sure what the difference was between that or.
Yeah. It's a big one. I think that's growing in popularity on its own as standalone art. I think, or in the next 10 years we'll see an increase in it.
I remember when I was a kid, we did Okinawa, which I think is a island, is it or something?
Oh, yeah.
That's what that sensei was going on about.
Yeah.
I remember it as being a funny word when I was a kid. Okinawa.
Yeah.
That's what I mentioned in something. It was mentioned in something I was watching a couple of months ago. That's what reminded me.
Oh right. Oh, there we are.
Are you a sensei then? Or was that
Good
not
lord,
something
no.
that happens? No.
They call it crew. which is a coach. But the thing, when you think traditional Thai is a poor man's sport in Thailand.
Okay.
It started off initially as it was a military art, because I say that when they were combat, if you got the Krabi Krabong as the original,
Yeah.
and then each different section of Thailand had their own art of Krabi Krabong, and they would kind of, that's how their armies would fight, with either
Yeah.
kind of weapons or just straight up punching, kicking, and
Yeah.
fucking Thai. They just put best warriors against best warriors and stuff like that. So it was pretty brutal.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was the national sport, simply because as soon as military kind of changed, they kept up with the tradition. But it's the only legal thing that they can gamble on in Thailand.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So what happens is that they kind of got all the poor kids are basically put into Muay Thai camps,
Yeah.
treated like absolute shit. They're just kind of made to fight from the age of probably about, I think we've seen about 8, 7,
Whoa.
8, yeah. Like a proper Thai fight. I mean, proper fights. Like,
Yeah.
none of this pads and all. They were going in knees to the head, elbows,
Yeah.
everything, just Muay Thai. And so they're that's why it's a poor man's sport there, because it's just basically, if you ain't got no money and you've got kids, you chuck them in for Thai. That's
They
it.
do that with Shaolin monks. They
Yeah.
send them to the little Shaolin schools, don't they? And
Pretty much the same thing, except they're fighting pretty much every week. They got to be fighting, and they're rough fights, they have. And so what you'll find is, to be a coach, you've had to have fought. And I think the current UK champ is Liam Harrison, for Thai, and he celebrated a couple of years ago having his 100th fight. And Sanchai was a massive Thai. He's like the oldest Thai fighter I think I recall.
Yeah.
He's in his late 30s, and that's unheard of for Thai, because it's all about conditioning. And he said, Liam, congratulations, mate, but you're still a baby.
100 doesn't seem that.
It's in Thai. It's not. They're on about
No.
300-400 fights. UK, any fighter of a UK 100 fights is fucking reputable, but they're different ballgame.
Yeah.
Completely different.
And I like the fact that it says TIE Fighter as well. Which makes me think of Star Wars. Or something like that.
So staying on fighting then, I'm going to put in here because I haven't spoken in 10 minutes and I find that ridiculous.
It's your podcast, isn't it? You should be talking.
No, he was interested.
Oh, he's listening.
I can see he
I've
was
heard it all
interested.
before, but and what do you think about Conor McGregor and
Mayweather.
Mayweather
I don't know. It's just
having a little lovers tiff in the ring?
crack on. I don't want them to hype it up. I would love. I would. They're both arrogant as fuck. So I don't know who I'd want to see get knocked down more.
But do you think because they're going into Mayweather's territory and obviously he hasn't fought in, I think it'll be about nearly 2 years at the time. Do you honestly think he's going to be as sharp as he was then?
Mayweather.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
But do you think McGregor's skills can translate? I know he's a bit of a stand-up fighter anyway, but
Yeah, I think when you look at McGregor's style, he's got a lot of constitution about him. He can take a punch. He's got a bit, he's got an iron jaw, and he is a very technical fighter. So he wouldn't necessarily have to rely on kind of the reflex. I think if he'd use his head about it, I'm not sure if he'd win. Simply because it'd probably go down, in my view, it'd probably go down to points. And I think if points, it'd be Mayweather's game.
do you think he could go 12 rounds though, McGregor?
Yeah,
That's
I think he could. I think he's
12 3-minute rounds compared to 5.
Yeah, I think it is a different sport. It's a different beast, isn't it? However, I think he's a fucking athlete. I think he would manage 12 3-minute rounds. In my view.
Yeah.
But if you see him in his MMA fights, he maintains a level constantly, and they are fucking strenuous fights. Those things, those cage, simply because when you involve so much more muscle groups, by going to the ground, that's a heavy game anyway. So yeah, I reckon you can definitely go the distance.
See, I'm not much of a sports fan, but I've seen Mayweather fight and I've seen McGregor fight. Mayweather, he's got an art form when it comes to avoiding. He's good at avoiding getting hit. That's the one good thing, probably only good thing I'll say about him. He seems like he's a bit of an ass. McGregor seems he's really full of himself because he's good, but he's quick.
Yeah.
So I'd like to. I want to watch it just to see what it'd be like. Someone as quick as McGregor against someone who's good at avoiding, just to see if he can actually avoid the sharp. How quick he can.
Yeah, I mean,
punch.
Mayweather's very good with movement. He always has been, isn't he?
Yeah.
But as I think, they're both good at what they do, and I think McGregor, he wouldn't be a fish out of water. I'm just not sure at what level. I don't think there'll be a KO in it unless McGregor gets a lucky shot. Like
There'll come a point where he'll get so frustrated because he keeps missing punches, we'll just drop a kick in there and knock him flat.
yeah, probably.
Oh, sorry, my bad, wrong fight.
Yeah, start taking him to the ground or something. Yeah, but
We're not allowed to do that yet.
no, I don't know. I think in my view, I put my money on going to the distance and then Mayweather winning on points. If there's a gamble on that, I'd probably put money on it as well.
To start a gamble.
I think it's an interesting thing for me. Like he's obviously been sharp, and he's going into this fight a 40-year-old man compared to what's Conor McGregor. I think he's 28, 29.
Yeah.
He's, there's a big difference in there. McGregor's been fighting for 3 years, 2-3 times a year, where Mayweather hasn't done anything since 2015. So, and his last fight was, let's be fair, just I don't know why he bothered with it. It was just a joke. But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting fight. But I think either,
Wasn't Pacquiao, was it? His last
no,
fight?
he had
That was
one
the
fight after that,
Right,
and
yeah.
that's the thing. Nobody remembers his last fight.
Yeah,
I remember it being on, and I remember Lex texting me saying, "Oh yes, Mayweather's last fight tonight," and both of us just forgot all about it. He'd just seen an ad.
I'm
I'm
looking
staying
forward to
after
when McGregor says, right, we're in my ring next week.
Nah, it won't
That's just
happen.
never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Mayweather's got the money. I don't know why he's doing it for. He must be confident enough that he can take him.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to risk his undefeated. If this is going to be a professional sanctioned fight, which I don't know if it is, because there's rumours going around that some of the wrestling, some of the boxing things won't sanction it. But if it is going to be that, I can't see how he would risk his undefeated streak.
Yeah.
Like come out of retirement at 40 years old and try and risk. If he does it, it's all the glory in it because he just turns around then and says,
I think the biggest thing when you hear about retired fighters, I think to get to a professional fighter stage, to be any professional athlete, I think in the nicest way possible, there has to be something wrong with you. There has to be like I don't know, like the most recent thing is like when you got Eddie Hall with the strongest man thing, is that for him to feel adequate, he needed to get the strongest man, the world's strongest man, because that's what he values. Like I think I was reading something. I think it was either reason or watching an interview a couple of years back with Ricky Hatton, and the reason why he did his last fight, where because he needed to make sure he was worth it, because he got as soon as he retired, he basically went back on drugs, he went back on a food, and he needed to get back to feel worth it. And I just think that's a lot with a lot of professionals. I think the higher you are, the more ingrained that's in you, because the amount you sacrifice.
It's all you've done all your life.
And
day
I think
in, day out. It's all you've thought about.
And what you got is you got Mayweather, who's going into it. Yeah, all right, he's undefeated, but it's probably not enough for him. He's all he needs is just like a red rag to a bull. Someone coming who's as bold as him, as cocky as him. Probably a younger version of him in his eyes, and he just thinks, "Yep, that's a challenge. I'll accept it because I'm still worth it. I'm still worthwhile.
And plus the challenge
I'm L'Oreal.
will get him back into the mindset that he has and has always had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're out of that mindset, because he probably thinks, right, I've got a challenge now.
Yeah,
I'm going to be like I was.
You just, because what's your life like? Yeah, you get to 40, you've been a fucking professional fighter, probably from a very young age. Boxers start young. Because I remember getting into a decent level boxing, and I was 24, and they already say you're quite old, like for pro, like you're old.
Yeah.
And so that's the truth of it. If you want to get high level, you start young. So he's probably started while young, and he's been fighting since he was young, and then he's come out of it at the age of 40. So majority of his life.
37 he was when he
How
37,
many
yeah.
hours a day does he train? Like swimmers and that do like 7 hours a
Yeah,
day.
I think you usually find pros. Pro boxers, you're looking at about maybe 3-4 hours a day, easy. 5 hours maybe some days.
every single day.
Yeah.
For like
6 days a week you're doing that at least.
I think
such
that's
a
like one of
mindset.
the things, we're going off subject slightly, but it's one of the things where you get these, you just mentioned Ricky Hatton going back to drugs and all, you just get this thing and there's just this gap because all of a sudden you're not doing anything.
It's the same
Like
with musicians.
Paul-
Second they come off tour,
Yeah.
they're screwed. The routine of being on tour keeps them going. The
Yeah.
second they come off tour, they don't know what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
Like Paul Gascoigne for me is one of the prime footballers because he just, as soon as he left football, he just didn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah, you
And,
don't know what to
you
do.
get them. It's in wrestling. You get them people that will just keep going and going and going because they've retired. Like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Mick Foley. They've all retired 4, 5, 6 times, if not more, and they'll just keep coming back because they don't know anything else.
Yeah.
And that's sort of worrying. Like you just said, there's got to be something wrong with you to get into that position. But then when you get into that position, it's just like, fuck, like, there's no exit. There's
there's no way.
As I was watching a podcast, but it was actually a video, but it was a podcast being filmed, and it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he said, The Rock always planned on going into movies. He said, and when I retired, and I had the thing, but I locked myself away. He said for 3 years he went down to his ranch in Texas, and the nearest thing was like 50 to 150 miles away. The nearest, like, whatever it was, Quickie Mart, Target, and he'd drive there once a month and stock up, and that was it. He'd sit in there, he would sit in this thing, he would hunt on his ranch, and he would drink beer because he didn't want. He'd done a couple of things movies wise, but he just wanted that sort of that period where he could just go, right, this is where I need to be, because the moment he tried to get into films, got rejected, he said, I'm going to go back into wrestling, or I'm going to do something else. And I'm just like, yeah, that's got to be fucking hard. Like, that's got to be hard coming out of something that's just...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and absolutely. But I think if you did like a psychological profile on these people, there is something that makes them from whatever age or whatever time to think, I need to do this. And
It's
you think,
that drive.
yeah,
They're
and
driven
like
to
what
do
we
it.
spoke about earlier, like going to the point where it's insane to keep going, but these guys have kept going.
Yeah.
And that stuff probably doesn't go away. It's so ingrained, like it's so kind of...
It's definitely a
very, very
personality
deep.
thing.
Yeah,
Where
I think
people are
absolutely.
doggedly obsessed by something from an early age is...
It's something I'm learning now, like especially like in Muay Thai, or things like talent's really good. Like, don't get me wrong, it does get you far, gets you a little bit.
Yeah.
You need that drive as well, because at some point, talent is completely surpassed by just fucking sheer effort, will, and that's the difference. So yeah, there's loads of little genetic differences between individuals, but I'd put my money on the guy who works harder any day of the week, especially with sports where it fucking hurts. Like, it's physical. Like, fatigue makes a coward of all men. I love that saying because it is so true. And unless you've been really fatigued, you might think, no, I got some fight left. You go a couple more rounds and you tell me if you got some fight left, because like there's not, everyone gets to a point where there's nothing left. And I think you have to have a very specific personality type or a very deep drive to get through that. And I don't think that's something that goes very quickly. Like, once you retire. So yeah, I think it is. I think it's a double-edged sword. Like, I think there's a lot of difficulty with it.
It's the same in anything, though, isn't it? When people are there's lots of people who are talented at things, but the people who really make it are the people who for some reason, got something to prove to themselves or to somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Especially with music and stuff. The people who are the most talented are very often don't come be asked. They're not. That's not what drives them.
Yeah.
And then you get other people who are not very good, just obsessed by like, gotta be the biggest, gotta do this, gotta do that. And you think,
absolute inadequacy. Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? That, like what you were saying, where it's quite a funny contrast where you say, well, people don't think DJing's like a proper job because we're not. It's exactly like that. We all look at that kind of with kind of starry eyes, thinking, oh mate, it must be awesome being them guys. Like, it must be awesome being in that position where if they're fighting, they're really good. And I think I think exactly like you. I think I think there's a trade-off. Like, I think that you get that, but there's a lot of stuff that it takes away from your the life and the stuff we're experiencing. Like, I say to you, like, everyone will probably say, oh yeah, I absolutely loved wrestling. Like, like Stone Cold probably say, I fucking loved it. But you're out of it now. Like, it's part of your life. But what have you given up because of that?
Oh, with sport especially.
Yeah.
You get people get to 30, 40 and they haven't eaten any junk food. They haven't, the basic things that,
haven't drunk alcohol. Like that's a good part. I think I was like Andy Murray. Is Andy Murray? Tennis player, yeah. And he doesn't drink alcohol. Never does. He eats really healthy all the time. Never.
Well, he does now. When he first started tennis, he wasn't. He was notorious for not. Yeah, but he's very clean. You've got to be in tennis. In tennis. Fuck that.
They feel like they haven't got a childhood. You often hear them talk, whereas we would be like, oh, out to remember your first gig. Like, no, I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
To go running. They don't even.
Yeah.
It's not even something they used to do.
It's a sacrifice, isn't it? A sacrifice.
And
you think like, they probably enjoyed it, but they probably wouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe I would like to see a lot of them say the same things as like you two guys said earlier. Like, we wouldn't do anything else. I'm quite happy where I am, and it's kind of like a humble thing, really, because. We could be a lot more successful. There's just fucking plenty of room for improvement with us, like, but you're happy where you are. And I think, you know, maybe that driving them, that kind of, not character flaw, but the things that drives them, also is that kind of thing that causes the void.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And I think that's what you sacrifice for success. You sacrifice that, maybe that feeling of contentment, because otherwise you wouldn't stop, would you? You would stop if you felt content. You think, I'm all right.
Yeah, it's the thing. Everything stops being about you then, doesn't it? If you're a sportsman or you're doing something and you get to a point, you know, yeah, it's you, and then all of a sudden it's going down to the, you know, we talked about previously with Facebook. It's like we care about how many likes we get, and you know, and stuff like that. It's about me. That's about me. You know, people like me because they like this. It's me. And yes, but sports stars, I can't imagine. But it's the same with, like they say with rock stars, isn't it? It's like the moment they come on stage, the reason they do drugs is they can't match that high, and they don't know how to come down from it. So they use the drugs to sort of.
And it's not just the high. I think it's a discipline as well, because they're getting up every morning. They're being told, right, you're doing this. You're going to get in the van. Someone's taking them here. That can go on for years, like if you're Katy Perry or something, and then one day it stops, and you're back in the house on your own again.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah,
It must be quite weird.
You feel it in this job now when we do DJing now. You get that same feel.
Yeah,
You get a crowd. Everyone's going mental all night. They're dancing all night. You even play extra. You know you go 15 minutes extra. That encoreness because they're having so much fun. You're there the next day and you're literally like doing your washing. And you're just like, you where's the next buzz coming? You gotta wait another week then before you do it all over again. That's why I do stuff like this. It still keeps it all going. It's all part of the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
Get it.
what we got to watch for now is Gav start drinking and have a nervous breakdown and
Start
drinking while obviously
while
while
podcasting,
working,
right?
because it's like the buzz is wearing off now.
I
so
stopped
whistle
before I got here.
Yeah.
I stopped before I came here. I'm going to carry on when I get home. My pint's
Sat
probably
over
flat
there
now.
sipping
Yeah.
a peach daiquiri, calling us all a bunch of cunts. Like.
When I was a boy, this was a funny podcast. You two are wankers now.
So much has changed there.
Yeah. Bigger wankers now.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I've got a sneaking suspicion that's why Mayweather does it. But
That's the 2 hour mark.
2 hour man.
that's 2
But the thing
hours.
is, we're like, mate, we're putting in the work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mate.
We're putting in the
Fucking
graft.
passionate.
Put in the
It's-
work for like 64% American.
It's not been
listeners.
it's been a while since we've had part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, we can do that.
We'll never get better at podcasts unless we, push on past the 2 hour mark every time.
Yeah.
So we
Got
just
to
done
get
2
back up and
podcasts.
do another couple of rounds.
We're doing bi-weekly now, thanks to these two and you. And just me sat here on my own on the other Wednesday going, so I'm Shane, I'm got a mic, I'm just going to do a podcast on my own.
He does
Just going to
solo
talk to myself,
podcasts.
yeah. I had to do one last time because I didn't think you was turning up, so I've done like a 15-minute podcast on my
So
own.
why not set your phone up, go live on Facebook, and do a live one yourself once a week?
Because I don't want to talk to myself.
Yeah.
You're not talking to yourself,
I
you?
need to bounce off people.
Yeah, we
Yeah, but all you need, you did it the other week on your own when you did the whole.
Yeah, but I had
on,
stuff to talk about. I had to, call like Cunt Face 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and all them.
Yeah.
And accept challenge and lay rules and...
Who's cunt face one then?
Oh, it's me, guys.
Order that.
He's calling
If I-
himself
if,
out, that's what he
Well,
does.
I give
If
you
I'm,
options.
if I'm going to be something, I'm going to try and be the best. And then obviously when I fall off that pedestal, I start drinking and doing drugs and trying to find out where that next high's coming from. I might be that little bit more of a cunt just to get the top spot back. So,
See some kids walk past and knock their stuff out of their hands
it's
like yeah.
they get like selling the Pokemon cards, and as they open them, fuck off, that's my one now. Oh, I got Charizard, that's mine. I gotta have that one back. It says in the terms and conditions when I told it to you. Fuck off, get out.
Hang
Tell my
on.
mum.
How have you got
Okay.
2 packs?
Yeah.
Are they stuck together?
Yeah.
Where the fuck did you get that idea from?
Yeah.
You're doing a podcast? When? We'll
Oh,
do
was
it
on
for
about
in 2
stickers
weeks.
earlier.
Oh, I thought you meant 2-pack as in... Sorry, I thought you...
2-pack should
I thought
go.
we'd moved on
But
to
you
that
pulled,
again.
but you pulled 2 back from
We
it.
often
Every
talk
time you
about 2-pack and Biggie. I thought we were back onto that.
Alright then, we'll call it a night there then, I
I
think.
think so. Yeah.
Such a abrupt slightly.
I think it's been lovely having a couple other guys. Thanks
Yeah,
for joining
it's
us.
great,
Thank
yeah.
you for having me, guys. It's nice.
It's been great.
It's nice not being quite so serious. But I will read some stuff for next week and
I think we should play Ticket to Ride at some point as well.
Yeah.
live.
I don't know if it'll come across. We could do it live on Facebook if somebody's got a decent camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ticket to Ride live.
I will have eventually. We're building that up for the radio so we can do live broadcasts, do live videos from the radio.
Oh, yeah.
When we get to that point, I'll just bring the
Rough.
stuff in here, we'll set it all up in here, and job done.
How much is a decent camera?
80 quid.
How much is the next
Not so decent.
Which is a semi-decent one.
The ones we're getting are 80 quid. But you've got to have the whole thing. The laptop that runs it, everything. It's crazy.
There's got enough laptops between us, surely.
Just use the webcam.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
But I don't mind. If you guys want to set one up on the end there and have it facing this way, I can set all this up as normal. That film the game in the middle. I'll put all this over to one side, so it's all set up as normal.
I'm just thinking we could do it.
Alright with
Yeah.
their webcams, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, surely. Oh, I think lovely natural end that. So get in touch, listeners. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. I've got to do an outro now on the other one, haven't we? 'Cause it's split there.
No, don't bother. Just fuck it up,
Yeah,
mate.
let's do the outro on this one.
It's
and
just
then
an
keep it
epic.
Yeah,
No, but he's going to split it into 2 parts, he said.
It's just something special.
yeah, summer special.
No, but if he does 2 parts, we can release one now, and then we've got another one next week, and we're not doing one.
Okay, do it.
Thinking.
There you
Right.
are. Lovely.
It's an
Right,
it's a
okay,
summer
well, we're
annual.
ending now, and this is going to be the end of part 2, because we decided right at the end we're going to do it into 2 parts. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to get in touch, you can get us on the Book of Face, Let's Chat Geek, on the Twitter. You can listen to us on iTunes and Podbean and any other pod app you want to. Anything else before we go?
It's been emotional.
Emotional?
Why is the music stopped? I feel like it's...
Yeah.
Somber for the.
Because it's just like drink up, music's off,
Yeah.
off now.
Yeah, get out.
Closing time. Closing
Yeah.
time's done. This is the
Yeah.
outro. Like Gavin's like, fucking hell, it's quarter to 11, I want to go.
Oh, sorry, I know the DJ can stay. He said it was alright to hang around with him.
Yeah. He said he'd do an extra 15 minutes for encore. You know, we got 15 minutes now. Right, okay. Thank you very much for listening. I've been your host, James Jordan. It's been Christopher Alfonso.
Good eve.
He done it. And it's been Ben the Hitman Potter
Thank you very much.
with Gav, the Magic Man.
Yeah, I'm here.
He's over there, not mic'd.
Thank you very much.
Good night, God bless, all the best.